I'm Savanna Pineda.
I'm Nodal.
And I'm Valeria Reyes, and our topic is on deforestation.
Deforestation is the removal of a forest or trees from land which is then converted to a non-forest use. Deforestation can involve conversion of forest land to farms, ranches, or urban use. The most concentrated deforestation occurs in the tropical rainforests. Deforestation can also be seen as a removal of forests leading to several imbalances ecologically and environmentally. It results in the decline in habitat and biodiversity. Some of the main causes of deforestation are farming, grazing of livestock, mining, and drilling. Combined, these account for more than half of all deforestation. Forestry practices, wildfires, and urbanization account for the rest. In Malaysia and Indonesia, forests are cut down to produce palm oil, which can be found in everything from shampoo to saltines. In the Amazon, cattle ranching and farms, particularly soy plantations, are key culprits. Deforestation can cause climate change, soil erosion, fewer crops, flooding, increased greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, and a host of problems for indigenous people. One of the first effects of deforestation is soil erosion. Soil erosion is when the soils are exposed to the sun's heat, the moisture is dried up, nutrients evaporate, and the bacteria that helps break down organic matter is affected. Eventually, rain washes down the soil surface and erosion takes place. Soils never get their full potential back. The water cycle is also affected because of deforestation. When forests are destroyed, the atmosphere, bodies of water, and the water tables are all affected. Trees absorb and retain water in their roots. A large part of the water that circulates in the ecosystem of a rainforest remains inside the plants when cut. Some of this moisture is transpired into the atmosphere. When this process is broken, the atmosphere and bodies of water begin to dry out. The watershed potential is compromised and less water will run through the rivers. Smaller lakes and streams that take water from these bodies of water are dried up. Another significant effect of deforestation is the loss of biodiversity. More than 80% of the world's species remain in the tropical rainforest. It is estimated that about 50 to 100 species of animals are being lost each day as a result of destruction of their habitats. One of the most relevant effects of deforestation today is climate change. Plants absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and use it to produce food. In return, it gives off oxygen. Destroying the forest means that carbon dioxide remains in the atmosphere, and destroyed vegetation will give off more carbon dioxide stored in them as they decompose. This will alter the climate of that region. Cool climates may get a lot hotter, and hot places may get a lot cooler. Although deforestation first became a serious concern in the 1950s, it has been an issue since humans began making fires thousands of years ago. Between 1990 and 2016, the world's lost about 502,000 square miles of forest. Since humans started cutting down forests, 46% of trees have been felled, according to a 2015 study in the Journal of Nature. About 17% of the Amazonian rainforest has been destroyed over the past 50 years, and losses recently have been on the rise.
The forest is important to human life because it's comprised of 31% of the landmass of the earth. More than 2 billion people around the world rely on the forest, which provides them food, shelter, clothing, and fresh water. 300 million people, including 60 million indigenous people, primarily live in the forest. Apart from humans, forests are also a home to biodiversity. 80% of the world's terrestrial biodiversity, plants and animals, are found in the forest. Deforestation is important because we are putting too much heat-trapping carbon dioxide into the air when we're burning fossil fuel. We use fossil fuel to generate electricity, fuel our cars, and heat our homes. But by cutting down and burning trees, we are also releasing a heavy amount of the same heat-trapping carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Tropical deforestation accounts for about 10% of the world's global warming pollution. Deforestation is also important because it's a factor in causing global warming. Every molecule of CO2 traps in heat in Earth's atmosphere regardless of whether the CO2 comes from the tailpipe of a car, the smokestack of a coal-fired power plant, or the burning of a tropical tree. Thus to the address global warming, we need to reduce the CO2 produced everywhere on Earth, not just in the United States. Tropical emissions are significant because about 10% of carbon emissions are coming from tropical deforestation. Deforestation is happening at an alarming rate and in an acre of tropical forest every second. We cannot address global warming effectively if we are ignoring 10% of the problem. Tropical forests are necessary for stabilizing our climate. Tropical forests not only provide oxygen for us to breathe, but it also takes CO2 out of the atmosphere. and store much more carbon than forests in temperature regions. Losing such forests greatly hampers Earth's ability to remove carbon from the atmosphere and avoid the worst effects of global warming.
The attempts to upgrade the view of tree cover loss by identifying the main drivers of deforestation on regional levels. A team of researchers from WRI, the Sustainability Consortium, and the University of Maryland developed this new map by looking at thousands of satellite images in Google Earth to create a predictive model. They then used this model to determine the most dominant driver of forest loss in a given 10-kilometer square area between 2001 and 2015.
They found that 20% of all forest loss, 50,000 square kilometers a year, is caused by permanent commodity-driven deforestation. In other words, an area of forest, a quarter of the size of India, was felled to grow commodity crops over 15 years.
Harris, who was co-author of the study, stated, "For the first time, we can now quantify how much tree cover loss is due to commodity production and evaluate the collective progress of companies toward meeting their commitments. Our results show that much work is left to be done." The next biggest driver of forest loss worldwide is forestry at 26%, wildfire and shifting agriculture amounting to 23% and 24%, respectively. The study finds less than 1% of global forest loss was attributed to urbanization, with around 1% caused by something other than these four main drivers. The study indicates commodity-driven deforestation is concentrated primarily in Latin America and Southeast Asia. In Latin America, row cropping and cattle grazing were found to be the primary drivers of forest loss, while oil palm cultivation is the main cause in Malaysia and Indonesia. The study's authors write that their results indicate these places should be targeted as key locations for eliminating deforestation from supply chains and developing policies designed to reduce greenhouse gas emissions from deforestation. The study found commodity-driven deforestation remained constant throughout their 15-year study period, which the authors say indicates corporate zero deforestation agreements may not be working in many places.
Deforestation occurs for a number of reasons, including farmland, mostly cattle due to its quick turnaround, and logging for materials and development. It has been happening for thousands of years, arguably since man began converting from hunter-gathering to agriculture-based societies and required larger unobstructed tracts of land to accommodate cattle, crops, and housing. Some of the environmental effects of deforestation are loss of habitat. One of the most dangerous and unsettling effects of deforestation is the loss of animal and plant species due to the loss of habitat. 70% of Earth's lands, animals, and plants live in forests, and many cannot survive the deforestation. The trees of the rainforest that provide shelter for some species also provide the canopy that regulates the temperature. According to the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, we lose over 7 million hectares of forest every year. They are all attributed to human activities. Some of the major causes of deforestation are illegal logging. Illegal logging is a primary cause of deforestation. According to a study, over 15 billion trees are cut down every year. The United States is the world's largest importer of forest products. Humans have also impacted the environment by forest fires. Forest fires are a natural occurrence that take place when the temperature in the forest increases due to the long periods of dry seasons. It can also be caused by a lightning strike, but alarmingly, there is an increasing number of cases of forest caused by humans. Another human impact on deforestation is fuel wood harvesting. Wood is still the popular fuel choice for heating and cooking. Based on the data of FAO, more than 2.6 people depend on timber, fuel wood, and charcoal as their source of energy. Since 1960, the composition of fuel wood has increased about 250%. We also have agriculture expansion. To meet the increasing global demand of commodities and agriculture products, farms and plantations are being expanded even to premises of the tropical forest. Some more human impacts on deforestation is livestock ranching. As part of agricultural modernization, forests have been cleared to make way for livestock ranching. Since 1990, Brazil has become the top export of beef in the world. Due to the increasing global demand, the government of Brazil deforests an area that is 3/4 the size of Texas to expand their beef ranches. Another human impact is overpopulation. Lastly, overpopulation in the Earth has a total population of 7.6 billion people. By 2050, it is expected that we will reach almost 10 million in number. With this, more and more people will rely on forests as source of food and shelter. More shelters will be also cleared for the construction of housing and buildings.
There are many ways in which deforestation is being repaired or resolved as an issue. One of the first methods is sustainable forestry, which is a way to continue the industry with less detrimental effects. Sustainable forestry consists of timber harvesting methods designed to do as little damage to the environment as possible. Replanting trees after logging, limiting soil erosion, mitigating damage to wildlife habitat, and maintaining water quality are the cornerstones of sustainable forestry. The techniques of sustainable forestry are widely varied as they must be tailor-made for the type of forest being harvested. Another method to help stop deforestation is erosion control. Preserving soil quality will reduce deforestation because cleared areas can be farmed for much longer without having to resort to clearing new land. Stewardship is another way that deforestation can be helped. Proper stewardship practices can go a long way toward decreasing the damage caused by deforestation. Stewardship involves monitoring logging activities to make sure that all land use laws are being followed, including ensuring the rights of landowners and indigenous peoples. It also involves a delicate balancing act to keep deforestation from damaging the environment, while at the same time helping farmers, loggers, and others to benefit from the harvesting of forest products. The Forest Stewardship Council promotes proper stewardship by certifying products that come from managed forests that meet certain criteria. Certified products help consumers choose goods that are not contributing to environmental decline. There are also programs such as the REDD incentives. In addition to encouraging consumers to buy certified forest products, an effort is being made to provide economic benefits to countries that reduce deforestation. One method is REDD, reducing emissions from deforestation and degradation, that seeks to give countries economic benefits for storing carbon in their forests. This prevents releasing excess carbon dioxide into the atmosphere from forest clearing. These incentives are similar to how factories and power plants are given economic incentives to lower pollution. A movement is underway to preserve existing forest ecosystems and restore lost tree cover. Organizations and activists are working to fight illegal mining and logging. National Geographic explorer Topher White, for example, has come up with a way to use recycled cell phones to monitor for chainsaws. In Tanzania, the residents of Kokoda have planted more than 2 million trees on their small island over a decade, aiming to repair previous damage. And in Brazil, conservationists are rallying in the face of ominous signals that the government may roll back forest protections. For consumers, it makes sense to examine the products and meats you buy, looking for sustainably produced sources where you can. Nonprofit groups such as the Forest Stewardship Council and the Rainforest Alliance certify products they consider sustainable, while the World Wildlife Fund has a palm oil scorecard for consumer brands. I'm Savanna.
I'm Will.
And I'm Valeria.
Thank you. This concludes our topic of deforestation.
Thank you for watching. See you soon.